you.
Yep, I got you.
They're going to have city council. Will be recorded. Gonna have to get out.
Oh, it's not there.
Hey, for some reason, I'm not seeing any counselors.
Well, I'm here.
Okay, there's Topaz.
I'm here. Patrick's here.
Why is my screen doing that? It's only showing part of it. Those you guys are up top. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll call this council work session to order Wednesday, June 16th. The time is 1 p.m. I'll open it up for visitor comments. If you'd like to make a comment, please go into the area where you can raise your hand and please announce your name and keep your talks to 5 minutes or less.
I don't see anybody with their hand raised.
All right, we'll give it just a little bit more time here. Sorry, this screen is throwing me off for some reason. Matt, did you change the format at all?
No, everything is my end.
Okay. All right, so our first item on the agenda is employee length of service recognition. Our first one is Carol Green, who's in our financial department. Carol's been with the city for 25 years. She's a bright, smiley face who's always helpful and eager when she shows up to do her work. So I see Carol is here. Carol, we appreciate all that you do for us. And I'm truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like I said, you are a shiny person when I come into the office that I see all the time. So any other counselors like to say a few words?
Yeah, we all appreciate her so much, and good words, Mayor. She does that for all of us.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Carol after my election and before swearing in, as I was trying to get paperwork done. I happened to meet her outside City Hall, putting some stuff away, and introduced myself. And she let me know things that I should be thinking ahead about in terms of getting paperwork done and all that kind of stuff. And when it did come time to submitting all that, found her to be very helpful as well. So glad that we're celebrating her for 25 years and hope there's more if she wants to.
All right, thank you, Patrick. All right. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next one, who is Heidi Davis, who is celebrating 15 years with the city. She's in our building department. And what I know about Heidi is that, hearing from the builders out there, Heidi, is that you are very, very helpful, and non-builders, even people just building a home, and the application process and explaining it thoroughly, and also the next steps that they might have not seen. And you are very insightful and are doing a very wonderful job since you moved into that position. And yeah, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mayor Scholl.
Yep.
And also guarding the front lobby as you've done for so many years. Hopefully,
That's very
soon
true.
hopefully you'll soon get a real fire alarm too.
Okay, we appreciate you both very much. Thank you, and congratulations on your 15 and 25 years.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, next item on our agenda, annual report from insurance agent Hagen Hamilton. Now, before we go there, Matt, did you realize that it said that recording was canceled?
Yeah, internet stopped here. at City Hall.
Okay, now it's recording in
So-
progress.
Yeah, I think a lot of people at City Hall just lost internet for like 20 seconds or so.
Okay. All right.
We're all getting back. So I don't think if you did thing, it cut off right when you were just about started talking about Carol.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you can maybe.
Yeah, I'd
repeat.
like to go ahead and put that on the record. So I just wanted to recognize the length of service recognition to Carol Green in our financial department for 25 years. She is a bright, shiny face who is always there, eager to do her job. And when you walk in, she's just pleasant to be around. And then Heidi Davis in our building department, since she's come on board there, has been very helpful to people, especially people who are not builders, who don't know the next steps to do, and very insightful in the permitting process and what next steps they need to be aware of. So, and again, I apologize that our recording went out, but that's kind of a ditto, a repeat there. And we had some counselors chime in and also thank them. So, okay, now our next item on the agenda is an annual report from insurance agent Hagan Hamilton, Chris Iverson.
And Mayor, I do not see Chris Iverson on the call.
Him linked to the meeting a few minutes ago and he must be getting on.
Okay. So, well, when we see him come on, we will come back to this one. How about is Josh from Hudson Garbage here? There he is. Okay, so our next item on our agenda is review proposed rate increase for garbage and recycling services. Josh from Hudson Garbage.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I was briefly introduced to you all earlier in the year when we had a management change with our organization, so it's nice to see you all again. I'm fairly new to the community and new to Hudson Garbage, so I look forward to working with you all in the future. I won't take up too much of your time today. I know you're very busy people and have a busy agenda throughout the afternoon and the evening, but I think, based on your packet, why we're here. We're talking about our rates, our service rates for Hudson Garbage. Columbia County recently just passed a 2.6% disposal increase for the transfer station that has an impact on our rates and our collection services. And then another kind of highlight that I pointed out in your paperwork is some of our cost structure has changed significantly over the past 12 to 18 months. One of the bigger driving factors in our P&L is labor. Labor is challenging, I think, as we all know on this call, finding and recruiting talented drivers as well as mechanic and specialized positions. Competing with markets like Portland and Longview has been challenging for us. So labor is a big driving factor in our request for rates. Again, direct costs, they always impact us. Fuel has been a big one. Metal has been a very significant increase, which is a lot of our business for containers, our trucks, and a lot of our parts that we put on our trucks. So that's been a big impact to us. I think, I mentioned driver shortage and that's nationwide. That's impacting our costs and our consumables and actually being able to receive things in a timely manner and costly. So, lastly, I won't want to take up too much of your time. In 2020, Hudson Garbage made the decision to not pass on any increases or rates to the consumers. 2020 was a tough year for all of us economically. And so we, while our business was certainly impacted, we made the decision to not pass on any increases to try to help the community in time of need. So, what we're asking the council to evaluate and approve today and this evening would be a 2.6% increase to the service rates for Hudson Garbage. Also in your packet, I noted that CPI, CPI for the West this year is 4.8%. So we feel this is a kind of a meet in the middle and a fair request for rates. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I won't go on any further. I'm here to answer any questions or follow up any further discussion if you wish. So thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
So basically the county increased you guys to 2.5% or 2.6%?
2.6%.
0.6. So, I mean, that's a fraction of your cost, but the other reason for the increase is the increase in wages and trying to find talented employees to fulfill those truck driving positions.
Yeah, correct. Along with, consumable costs and steel, as I mentioned, and just direct increases to our operating costs. Yes, that's correct.
Mayor, I just like to appreciate him take a moment to note that this is a 2-cycle increase, not an annex, more traditional, and that Hudson's been a real community partner, and then it's part of the scan to pass down on the community and be a good service. And
Yes, I think is the rest of council here in the city hall staff lagging? You guys have really bad internet, and Chris Iverson is trying to get in
Yes.
down there, and he's not being able to. He's texted me, so.
John, if John could possibly try moving closer to his mic, and we'll see how that goes.
John.
Yeah, I
If
think
that's
it's
all.
actually. I
and
think
with
it's actually-
issues, I can try that.
No.
The internet must. Oh,
You guys need to be outside. You need to have the LTE edition like I have, where you can be mobile and it's kind of nice out here, by the way. Just letting you know. So I think to reiterate what John was trying to say was that Hudson Garbage has been a very good partner, and it's the rate increase. I mean, you gotta pass it on. So it's unfortunate. That's the nature of the way we do business in America. So any other questions for Josh?
Yeah, a comment and a question. I don't know if Josh has had a chance to see today's Chronicle. There was a nice letter to the editor about your service, but with a question, which I guess also was one too, was regarding recycling of glass. And if I guess if you just provide a little background, I know you when my wife and I load up our extra metal and stuff, we take it up, take the glass up, but just curious about the reason that typically glass is not part of the the mixed collectibles, and what if that were to be something added to your service, or maybe even a separate container for that, what kind of impact that would have on costs or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. And I have not seen the Chronicle yet, but I certainly will and read that article. But, glass can be challenging. I actually oversee our market in Portland, where we collect glass separately at the curb. And we've actually discussed this a little bit recently with Columbia County. Traditional single stream programs where you mix materials in the same container often exclude glass. And the reason for that is the sorting equipment at the MRFs, the processing facilities, has to be very elaborate to extract the glass along with all those other commodities, which adds cost to that processing fee. And then, kind of to your comment about putting it in a separate container and collecting it with a separate truck, we're certainly open to evaluating that. It's a big question in a lot of smaller communities that have interest. But, you do have the cost of an additional truck, the additional container, the additional labor, and then also additional transportation to a marketplace. So, what we found is glass, it's challenging to haul and recycle, but it can work if the cost structure is there. So we're open to further discussion about it. I think most people on the call know you can take it to transportation and, as you mentioned, load up your stuff and head down there. But it can be challenging at times to process and haul, for sure. Hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
Yeah, that was very helpful. And I have no qualms about approving the increase that you're asking. It makes sense. And we're very happy with the service you provide our home. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I just have a bit of a comment, Josh. Monday, we met as in the Parks Commission. We talked briefly about franchise agreements. I know that Comcast kind of stepped up to the plate and accomplished an additional contribution to the city. I know of another industry that contributes to our city. And we discussed that a bit, but there never was a motion for a donation or anything like that. But we are, this all came up because of the shortage of porta potties in our parks, and that was what manifested the discussion. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that there never was a motion for donation in a sense, but it was just a talk about moving forward with additional porta potties in our parks when we get several hundred people at a park, and there's only one porta potty. The line that wraps around that porta potty gets to be a point of kind of like no return. Anyway, I think those things for the safety and the convenience of our citizens is very meaningful. And again, there was no motion for any donation or anything like that, but there was talk. So I just wanted to clear the air on that. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And we're very willing to help and contribute. So I appreciate that.
All right, Josh. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you guys.
Yep. All right. So now I see Chris is here. So we'll go back to our second item, which was on the agenda, which was annual report from insurance agent Hagen Hamilton. Chris Iverson. You want to go ahead and unmute yourself, Chris?
Can you hear me?
I can now. Yep.
Okay. Can you see me?
No.
You can't.
So,
Okay.
So same spot. There you are.
Here I am. Now you don't want me to. You want me to get off now, huh? I had the same problem as all you guys did trying to get on here. I'm telling you, I'm panicking. It got to be 1, then 103, then 105.
And Chris, I think it might have been our internet. It might have been our internet down there at City Hall is what we're finding out. So
I had half my office in here saying, "What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?" So anyway, but I'm glad I'm here.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I was just hoping that it wasn't payback for how I stood you up for our meeting a few weeks.
No payback at all. No payback at all.
I know you wouldn't do that, but I was late to an appointment with Chris a few weeks ago, but he was very gracious in still taking the time to meet with me about things. So okay, so sorry.
That's okay. There's always stuff to do, so you didn't waste my time at all. So, Kathy forwarded a premium, some information to you. The first thing I'd like to go over is the premium summary. It's the second page of the information I sent to you. We're currently insured with CIS, City County Insurance Services. About 98% of all the cities and counties in the state of Oregon are with them. Some of you know this, some of you don't. They're an insurance pool, and they were formed, I believe it was back in the 70s, because cities and counties were having real trouble finding an insurance company that would insure them. Sometimes the companies would come into the state, and then sometimes the next year they'd go out. So cities would be scrambling to try to find insurance. And so they all got together and formed an insurance pool. And that's where we're in. And like I said, 98% of all the cities and counties in the state are in this pool. The ones that aren't are like City of Portland, the self-insured, City of Eugene, and then ones that are so bad that the pool doesn't want them. But anyway, so I went out again this year and I looked for any other markets, which frankly, there wasn't a single market that would write the whole account for the city. CIS did take a rate increase this year. Most rate increases were around 15%. Yours came in a little over 11. Part of that increase is due to the fact that we added some autos this year. I think we added 7 autos. Anyway, that's what made up most of the increase for the package. The next page shows the workers' compensation. The workers' compensation, our experience modification on the workers' compensation went from 0.62 to 0.85. The experience modification is a number set by the National Council on Compensation Insurance. And every business, every public entity has one of these, and it's strictly driven by claims. We had some claims come on this past year. It was actually from 2 years ago, but now they're just showing up on our experience mod. And so that took us from a 0.62 to a 0.85, which equated to about a 37% increase, which is a pretty hefty increase. And then on top of that, we fill out projected payroll reports, and the projected payroll reports were higher as well. So that accounts for the increase in the workers' compensation. I did go back to SAFE yesterday and was going back and forth trying to get some of that reduced, and they turned me down. So the last item on there on that page is the cyber liability. Cyber liability, I know that you guys, I think, made a very smart move here. I believe it was last year or year before, and increased the limits and bought bigger cyber liability limits. Cyber liability across the board is increasing because they're having so many cyber liability claims. We're seeing just enormous claims. This, as you well know, the city itself had a claim that was just under 200,000 2 years ago. So I'm seeing rates for cyber liability go up. So it's not just you, it's everybody that they're hitting this with. The next page is our pictures, you can get rid of that one, but I thought I would just do a type up and show what CIS is paid on the city's behalf. In 2015, they paid $6,700. So that was a great year, hardly any claims. 16, 17, they paid almost 215,000. 17, 18, they paid just about 37,000. 18, 19, they paid roughly 185,500. 19, 20, we had a tough year. They paid over $411,000 for us. And this most recent year, they're at 207,500. Also, we still have claims that are pending back to 2016, 17. So these numbers are probably not final numbers yet, but I just wanted to show you that. SAFE also, the reason that our experience mod went up is that in 2021, SAFE paid out about 22,000 in claims. Now that year hasn't come on yet because we have a lag year. So we'll see that next year. But in 1920, they paid over 52,000 in claims. In 18 and 19, they paid about 9,500 in claims for us. So anyway, that's about all I have to tell you this year. Is there any questions that you have for me?
I'm not seeing anybody.
This is exciting. It's insurance. Come on, everybody loves insurance.
Thank you, Chris. Keep our rates low.
I'll keep trying. And I'm, as I said, I'm willing to meet with any of you anytime here at my office or wherever you want to meet to discuss this. And I can go in more depth in the claims. Some of the claims are pretty interesting, actually. We've seen to have a lot of claims for the police department. That is not picking on you, Brian, but that is normal throughout the industry. Police departments tend to get most of the claims, and that's kind of true here too. So, but anytime anybody wants to meet with me, I'm more than willing to meet with you and talk to you about it.
Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome. Are you done with me?
Let me think. Yeah, I guess we're done with you.
Okay. Well, thank you for everything. I appreciate it.
Hey, Chris, thank you.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Yep. Okay, next item on our agenda is an annual report from the Parks and Trails Commission. Paul Barlow.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Paul.
I had my video going a little while ago, but somebody didn't want me to be seen, I guess, so they shut off my video feed.
Well, you should have the ability to go ahead and turn on your video if you can find that.
Said I couldn't.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. Well, it said you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
We're having technical issues at City Hall right now, and Matt keeps coming in and out, so he might not be able to start your video, Paul.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
so
on.
I just,
I am connected to the meeting, but I'm on my phone right now. We're still having internet issues at City Hall.
okay, no worries. I just thought maybe you guys didn't want to see me.
Nope, that's not the case, Paul. We always like seeing you.
All right, well, I don't know if I can share this presentation that we've put together.
Is there a way that the mayor can become the host so that the mayor can do this part? Matt or Kathy?
And if not, Paul, we can,
Now you're the host, Mayor. So you should be able to let him turn on his video.
okay, I'm looking for that selection, maybe in the host.
Mayor, are you the host now?
I'm not seeing that where it would be any different on the screen when I touch my screen.
I just seen a notification that said that you were the host now.
You should see some additional toolbars on the bottom, likely. If you go to the participant's name, you should be able to ask to start video if you want to do that.
Make me host.
Yeah, make Kathy host, because I'm not, actually on my iPad, I'm not seeing nothing on the bottom, and I'm tapping Paul, and it's not giving me no options either.
Kathy, are you at City Hall?
I could do it too.
Yeah, it is not giving me any other. So,
Well, Mayor, since you're the host now, I don't have any direction to make other people hosts because I'm not the host yet.
okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
It's just very frustrating down here at City Hall.
Yes, no
Sorry,
problem.
guys.
We'll walk through this. Okay, I'm in, like, even share content at the top of
Okay.
my screen. There's nothing on the bottom of my screen. It's on the top.
Hey, Mayor, can you click
Yeah.
on the participants and see the list of participants?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what I would like you to try and find Crystal Farnsworth.
Okay.
Or Crystal King and
Yep.
her name. And do you see an option for like more options, or you can click on their name and you should be able to make Crystal the host. She has a good connection and she is not at City Hall.
Okay. Crystal King. Oh, you know what? I could actually do this now too, because now it asks me if I want her to start a video.
Yeah, you
So
can do the same thing.
So I could do Paul.
Yep.
I think I have, all right, Paul. I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you to start your video. Did it give you the option?
Yep.
All right. There you are,
here.
yay.
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, and then do I need anything else to add anything else,
I
Paul?
was able to share this PowerPoint presentation that we put together, or I can just run through it.
I'm gonna make co-host.
Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. Yep, there you go. All right, does it say you're co-host now, Paul?
I just said John Walsh entered the waiting room.
So if you go to yourself on that
I'll admit
participant,
I'll let him in.
eh,
If you can let him in, that means you're co-host.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what it
So-
said.
and then to share your video, you probably need to tap on your name in that, and then it'll give you
Oh,
options.
I got
And
it.
then,
Let's see.
and then you can share content. Hey, we're figuring this out. Yeah, there's
I
nothing on
think
the
you
bottom.
can do it, Mayor Scholl.
There was nothing on the bottom of the screen, Matt. I'm like, there's nothing down here. All right, we can see
It's
it, Paul.
different on every device.
All right, Paul, you're on. You got it going. So,
All right, I'm on the clock.
yep.
All right, well, thank you, council and mayor, and I guess we'll just get right into our presentation for the Parks and Trails Commission annual report. So probably most of you know our chair is Carmen Dunn. I believe Carmen and Jerry Belcher were both reappointed recently for another term. We do have a new member that's joined us, Brandon Sundin. Could be a good addition, it sounds like, to the commission. Parks Trails Commission also now includes the Parks and Rec. And so there's been discussion about possibly changing the name. So we might change it to the Parks and Recreation Commission. Be a little more inclusive with the new Park and Rec. And obviously, because of COVID, all the meetings have been held through Zoom. We have had guests that have attended online. Seems like possibly maybe more guests have attended since we've had Zoom than or been on Zoom than when we were in person. But some of the events we've had, we have been able to have work parties, even with COVID. There has been some that have been postponed, but we've had work parties at quite a few out at Dalton Lake, Nob Hill, and also at the Botanical Garden, basically for removing invasive species and trail maintenance, general trail maintenance. Grants and donations. Recently, we received an anonymous donation of $1,000 to be used towards removing invasive species and planting native plant species in the parks. I believe it was decided at our last meeting that we would split that between two parks. I believe it was Dalton Lake and Godfrey Park. Here's some of the parks projects. The Dalton Lake Nature Preserve has many new features. Some of you aren't aware, there was a kiosk that was put in out there this past year. Some signage that's went up, bench, a bike rack that was installed as well right along the Rutherford trail there near Columbia City, that trailhead there at the Nature Preserve. All those items were donated, local donations. Lynn has done a great job out there at kind of heading that whole revitalization of that nature preserve there at Dalton Lake, and it's really come a long ways in the last I guess it's probably been a year and a half now, I think, since she kind of started really trying to spearhead some of the work out there. We've also had work parties up at Nob Hill and the Botanical Garden, which we'd already mentioned. And then the playground installation in McCormick Park is nearing completion. There's been some projects that have been postponed and then some that have been set to be added to the parks master plan. There was some discussion in a couple of our meetings regarding expanding the Botanical Garden. It was suggested that there's a small parcel of land adjacent to the Botanical Garden owned by the city be traded for a small parcel of land adjacent to the Botanical Garden, be traded for a small piece of property that the city owns, thereby increasing the overall size of the park there itself. It was also brought up, I think Jerry brought it up, about changing the name of the garden to Botanical Garden because it's more of a wilderness area than a formal garden, which kind of makes sense. And then Nob Hill Nature Park and McCormick have added new benches. And I understand that there's plans. We talked at our last meeting about some new benches that are going to be, and garbage cans that are going to be added ongoing in the future as well to the parks. The urban trail continues to be discussed as to how to move forward with it exactly. I know that we've talked about that off and on for a few years, actually. And then there was also a Watershed Council had gotten a grant for restoration along 5th Street Trail, I believe, which will benefit the Nob Hill Nature Park. And the end. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'll do my best to try to address anything. Obviously, it's a pretty busy commission. We've got a lot of good members on there. There's, like I say, there is a subcommittee that it was formed for the Dalton Lake Nature Preserve. That's still going on with headed by Lynn. So we got that going, and I don't know, just kind of, just a lot of things, a lot of parks, and a lot of good things happening, and a lot of good things that have happened. So,
any questions for Paul?
I just wanted to bring something up. I was at the recent meeting that happened this week, and I remember that there was also some talk about concerns with vandalism and graffiti going on in lots of the parks, and I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the council. And I personally have heard from citizens that there have been some stuff going on at the brand new playground where some of the barriers were taken down, and there was people getting on the equipment and things like that. And I'm obviously concerned about that, brand new playground. I'm just wondering if maybe there's a way we can just focus on protecting the playgrounds and the parks a little bit more.
yeah, I know that there, I mentioned it at the last meeting regarding the BMX track has been vandalized quite a bit this year. It's one of the doors was ripped off on one of the structures. Another building was broken into. It doesn't appear that they stole anything, just random vandalism. Tagging, painting the buildings, spray painting the buildings. So what we did is we did install some more lighting around the buildings and some motion detectors on those. So that is something that I kind of noticed, and I don't know if that's something that maybe the council can look at. Maybe we need to take a look at some motion sensor lighting, some better lighting in some of our parks to maybe try to deter some of this, because it can be pretty dark in certain areas, especially around the BMX track. There's no street lights nearby there that kind of light the area up. So that was one thing that I kind of thought about. I didn't bring it up at our meeting, but could be something that the council could take a look at maybe.
Thanks.
Jessica, I think that's a really good point that you brought up. We also at McCormick Park, I don't know if you know this or not, but we do have security there. We have a person who who lives on in the area, and possibly we could talk with beefing that security up rather than just locking doors and that kind of thing. So that makes sense to me, is real eyes on real issues. I think that helps, and I do think that the additional cameras are very helpful in the task of proving issues. So I like both suggestions, and thank you, Paul, for your report.
Yeah, I just don't get the whole graffiti thing of people who do that. It happens so fastly, and it's so destructive in a matter of minutes. It's flat out ridiculous. So
yeah, and it could be something that maybe the city looks at trying to get the word out through their newsletter or something about some of what's happening, and try to put an article regarding the local citizens to kind of pay a little bit closer attention to what's going on in the parks and people they see walking around, and it just make people more aware of it, because there could be people that walk right by the trail there at the BMX track and don't see the damage that's been done So just to make the public aware of what's happened could help as well, could be another tool.
So when do the races start there at the BMX track?
We held our first one on the 22nd of May.
Okay.
We're finally back.
Good
Being
deal.
off for a whole year.
All right. Good deal, Paul. Hey, any other questions for Paul? All right. Thank you, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, I just wanted to chime in because Chief Greenway just messaged me, and on that topic, he said that McCormick is going to be a priority of St. Helens PD, and they're going to increase some of the patrols in parks. So, thanks, Chief.
Excellent. Okay. He's always right on it. Yep. All right. So our next item on the agenda is public safety facility timeline discussion and next steps. Matt, do you need me to make you co-host?
Yeah, I'm gonna try because if you can make me
Yep.
co-host, and I'll share if I can share my camera,
Okay.
so I can share a PowerPoint.
Yep. Fingers crossed if this works, right?
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm going to email this to you. It was not in the packet because it was not done in time. And John has been out and I've been out.
Hey,
and so
Matt,
trying to get a
Matt,
time to
Matt,
get this all on
unfortunately-
paper before the council meeting did not happen. However,
Hey.
this timeline that I put together.
Matt, we
Matt.
can't hear you.
Yeah, you're gonna have to shut off your video, unfortunately, and try to do this without your video and your video yourself. Because it is really, yeah. Now go ahead and talk because you were better.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
That's still laggy. Still lagging.
You know, when I was there,
Mayor,
I
I have
had
a-
to connect to the park Wi-Fi, and that was helpful. Maybe try doing that.
Mayor, let's just go ahead and push it off.
Let's do this tonight.
If you're okay with adding it
Hey, this is crazy.
to the evening.
Yeah, we are. We are okay.
See, we need to go back to in-person meetings. I'm just saying.
Somebody got some helium and a balloon?
So I'm imagining that Mohammed's probably going to come through the same way. Brian may be okay, but we're going to try Mohammed. And then if not, we're going to skip right over to Brian because he's hopefully at the police station or somewhere else. So, all right.
Mr. Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I think I came up with a creative solution. My internet is working. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
You're cutting out
Yes.
just a tiny bit, but yes.
Okay, better than that, right?
A lot better.
Okay. So I'll make this quick and I might be able to help Matt here in a second. But good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I have this because I'm sweating. It's been very frustrating. Sorry. What you see before you here is an existing job description for the wastewater filtration facility. Unfortunately, around time of April, we had an individual who walked out of the job and we had this vacant position. So I took a chance to look at the operations in general, and we are looking into a hybrid kind of position that works between the water filtration and the wastewater treatment plant. And we came up with this particular job description, which number one, it's going to work very well between the existing team. Number two, the great advantages is it's an existing position that was restructured, so there is no budget impact whatsoever. In fact, there is a minor cost saving in this particular one. So I'm seeking your approval and consent for moving forward. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any.
Hey, any questions for Mohammed on the Water Systems Operator 2 job description?
Not a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Councilor Topaz.
One of the things is he using cutting torches and welding. Is that a job for a certified welder or just a welder?
Well, it's really potentially 98% of the time, this would not come as part of any job of this individual. But basic knowledge is kind of hopefully is good as an addition. If not, this duty will be conducted by a supervisor or a trained professional that we can send for gaining a certificate towards being able to weld. But I would say 99% they would not be part, but it's a good to have versus must have.
Okay, basically it's maintenance versus equipment that requires a certification.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Council.
No, I was going to say, you answered one of the questions I was going to have, whether or not this was a completely new position and an additional hire, but no, it's not. So consolidation. So thank you for reading my mind.
Of course, Councilor. Yeah, we really took a big advantage actually of looking at both facilities now, and this is going to play very well. Especially we have some folks in the water filtration or the water treatment where we have weekend duties, and now this will be able to split that hybrid model between both, and we can leverage these resources without, with minimum overtime limitation and also resource stress on the on-call, et cetera. So it'll work very well.
Sounds great. Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you.
Mohammed, good work.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Okay, our next item on the agenda is review new records and evidence specialist job description. Chief Greenway, are you at City Hall or are you elsewhere? Do you have good internet service where you're at? Maybe not. Chief, looks like you're not muted. Let me go look, make sure. You're definitely not muted. Okay, maybe it's a city deal. So I would just also like to, being that we were coming to this, let the citizens know that today Officer Coy and Hal usually observe a local elderly citizen on a daily basis near IGA. They stop in there to get their sandwiches for lunch. And not seeing him in the last few days, they researched where he lives in town and went to his home. After knocking, they heard a faint thumping, and hearing that faint thumping, they forced entry into the home and discovered him on the floor where he had suffered a massive stroke Sunday. They were able to call the paramedics, and he has been transported. And that happened today just because of our local connection, why we have officers here on a daily basis and why we need them here for a long time is to make relationships like that and see people that regularly travel back and forth from their residence to IGA and have interactions with those persons. And yeah, they just kind of questioned for some reason. And for me, that's God. I'm just spiritual. And went to research where he lived and knocked on the door, and he is transported, and we hope he has a speedy recovery. And yeah, just good work. So again, I got a text from Chief. His computer isn't working as well. So and Jessica's clapping.
Well, he was just texting me, but he must not have good.
Yeah, I'm getting text too, Jessica. So okay, so we're gonna kick him up to this evening too. Okay, we'll just so our next one, and we'll see if Kathy, she may be texting me here in a minute too. Review community support fund grant application. Kathy. I don't think so. I don't think that is happening. Okay. discuss Citizens Day in the park, we can do that. So this is our event, and we set the date for August 7th. And usually we serve burgers, get the whole community involved, and we could definitely use, Kathy just texted me, she's dead in the water too. So, and maybe Mohammed will help them all out. So we'll see. So usually we're cooking burgers, and it's a community event as far as like IGA usually donates burgers and hot dogs. Sunshine Pizza does a pasta salad. Skinny's has always donated water. Stan's Refrigeration donates ice. We have our police department, fire department, and a car show down there. We ask any nonprofits if they want to come set up. In years past, we would have vendors come, and they did a vendor's fee as far as 2% of their sales, which would be like Dutch Brothers. I think we need to look at this and kind of broaden it and maybe relax some of those type of fees if we want to see this thing grow, especially. And I think it being our event, and it's local businesses who already bought a business license, most of them, unless they're an absolute vendor themselves. But if they're a nonprofit 501(c), we're all about that, supporting those. So we're going to need some help this year. You know, just all the COVID restrictions and being cleanliness and everything else, you know, and everybody should have their shot by then. I'm not worried about it. Who wants it? And but I just think we need some more help. So I don't know if we want to do like a mini meeting on this as a council and do some ideas, or if you talk to anybody between now and that meeting, have them show up at this meeting. Is that the way we should go about this, council? I mean, it's our event.
Rick, I think having a meeting, debriefing about the past and having a good idea of the amount of people that will be here, some things that we could be doing and haven't done effectively in the past. We've done them, but one of the things that I think is really important here, we'll have a lot of people who donate, and we have got to give them recognition on a reader board or on some kind of board so that people attend this know who helped make this possible. I think that's essentially important. And I know Crystal's always done some thank yous and all of that, but maybe a little more. And I know that you have taken the microphone at the time and thanked the people who came to mind about their donations and whatever. And I think that those kinds of touches are really very important. So debriefing is always a good thing to do, looking back at what we can improve. And that's how we make it essentially effective and run efficiently, and everyone has a good time. So that's what we're here for, to give to our citizens. And I think all we can do is make certain that we plan appropriately. So good idea about planning.
Yeah,
Doug?
I mean, go ahead, Councilor.
Unfortunately, you're one of the few people who've had experience at this. Keith used to do a lot, and he's gone. I think the mini meeting that you've got to kind of take a lead at what we need to have done as a council has got to happen, because most of us are new at this business. You're the only one with experience, Rick with a little bit, but we can give Rick a microphone and he'll talk forever.
Well, Rick makes up for it with enthusiasm, without a doubt. Oh my gosh.
I love the idea of meeting ahead of time. I have a lot of experience with putting on community events with other organizations. So I think that having a game plan will be really good. And I can already think of a list of people that we can invite to come and help us out. So
yeah. And I was just thinking outside the box. It'd be nice to talk to the 4-H people and see if they want to bring down some animals and maybe make a donation to 4-H. for them coming down and setting up some goats. Who doesn't like goats? They got crazy eyes, right? Maybe some bunnies or something, stuff like that. So not to get clear out in the weeds, but simple little things that can enhance it. So, and yes, originally I did grab the bull by the horn and kick this off, and I'll also reach out to the National Guard like I've done in the years past and see if they will attend as well. And the car show guys are familiar with what's going on and the date, so we have classic car show up too. But I think it is definitely a we deal. So that's why this meeting does need to happen, and I'm sure there's a lot of great ideas, and I look forward to having that meeting. And let's just set it real. I don't know, 3 weeks out. Does that work for people? Maybe after July 4th. We do have no meeting in the first part of July. As long as we announce it, we can meet anywhere we want. Doesn't have to be at City Hall. It can be down at McCormick Park, for crying out loud. As long as we announce it.
I think having it in McCormick Park is a great idea so that we can see,
Visualize.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully see the new playground. So.
Yes. So what kind of date are we looking at?
So I would be available in the afternoon on Friday. I'm clear all day on Fridays, but then available in the after 3 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, and I think we want to do like around 6 o'clock in case there is a business that wants to participate and or a nonprofit and those people work. I think a 6 o'clock timeline would be great. It's summertime, and even if it's a little rainy, we got covered shelters down there. John Walsh, are you back? And can you unmute yourself so we can see if you can? Did Mohammed help you out? You didn't unmute yourself. Do I need to allow you to? Hold on. Let me see, John.
How about that?
Yes, there you go. Much
All right.
better.
So my workaround was just to completely disconnect and join by my own personal self. So, which is wonderful that you can hear me, and it's unfortunate that I can't see practically anything else. It's so small. So. Share video, anything else like that. So are we want to do a report? It's gonna be
So we were just talking about actually Citizens Day, and we're actually looking at setting up a time. And it's good that you're here, so you can write down for a notification. We're going to meet at McCormick Park at 6 p.m. And what date do we want to do?
What do you guys think about the 14th?
I'm flexible. The 14th works for me. July 14th.
July 14th, 6 p.m.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. And so anybody who wants to be involved needs to attend that meeting because we are going to be less than a month from running this event. So, and I will again reach out to some of the recent vendors, the skinnies, and talk to them and see what I find out from them. Okay.
For sure. Yeah. When the world comes back online here, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah. So, but we just need a notification that the entire council will be down there on the 14th at 6 p.m. And it's for Citizens Day if they need a topic discussion. And we were talking about making it flexible as far as vendor fees and stuff like that, being our own event. And most of
I've been taking some notes along the way here. I haven't lost you for a while. I just haven't been able to participate very well either. So
okay. So So being Sal, I don't know if Matt was able to do that, and I don't. Matt, can you unmute yourself? Yeah, it's only 3 weeks. Yeah, it's only that. Okay, so this is only, Kathy just texted me, realize it's only 3 weeks before our event. So we need to make sure that we hash out everything at this meeting needs to be finalized. So Kathy's asking, how about July 7th? Because that would give us 4 weeks. I think she might be right.
I am moving that week, so I can't promise that I'll be available.
Okay. Yeah, moving is not fun. It's not.
And working and camping back-to-back weekends at the same time.
Yes. You know what? I think we can do it 3 weeks ahead of schedule. I'll run around to all the other vendors and make sure I have that all lined up. Okay, I'll do that part, but I may need help in assigning people to help, like pick up water from Skinny's or pasta from Sunshine Pizza, or going to IGA to get the burgers and buns and hot dogs and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a good gopher, so
Okay.
you need that kind of thing. And since I took Keith's position, I'd be happy to flip burgers. I know he was doing that a lot at the last one. So anyway, but yeah, I'd be happy to do a lot of the running around for that stuff.
And in years past, we also got, I think, a small handful of employees that we paid overtime to come help us out, and it made a difference. It did make a difference.
Yeah.
So
Darren just got the text.
okay, so all right, we're just gonna go ahead and go with that 14th date, and we'll make it happen. All right, so obviously Matt just popped in to talk to John.
He said I'm sorry, it struck me as funny that he said the internet probably won't be on until probably 6 p.m. He said, but there's cookies in the break room, so.
All right, hey, John,
it is really challenging putting these meetings together, and there's so much work that goes in to have something come off like a basic service like reliable internet is really challenging. But we just learned that working with Darren and IT and Comcast, it's more of a system issue than it is a City Hall issue. So I'm not sure why others around town are not having it, but
nope. So just so Comcast knows, we were out all day Sunday.
I know that.
Yes. And it was I'm sure they got lots of calls, but it was very frustrating.
I got my credit. Everybody gets a credit.
I know, and you have to call if you want to get it. So if you're listening and you have to make a phone call and complain. And I should have, and I didn't, and I may still, but yes. So let's go ahead and go with Matt. Do you want to try to do a strategic action plan update? If you're around, he's probably eating cookies.
No, he's actually gravitating towards internet. So he's going to relocate himself somewhere where he can have internet for this evening. And
okay. All right. Hey, John, let's go ahead and get your administrator report then.
All right. Well, there's some other things later with executive session and things, and hopefully we can put that to the evening portion of the meeting. But, since our last meeting, we had a presentation before the Infrastructure Finance Board, which shares a lot of similar stories to what's happening right now. Jenny Dimshow and I were made a pitch to the IFA board. Their typical awards are only 10 million. So we were asking for 14.5, which was kind of a big ask. And they were pushing us pretty hard on all of the finances. We had our consultant from Tiberius Solutions was there, and we're talking about all of our, the strength of the city. And they were pretty impressed by our AA bond rating. The city, most cities our size don't have that, but they seem to be impressed by that. And it was a little bit contentious, but not too bad. But then they went for a motion and a vote, and the internet cut out. So, we didn't get to know what the vote was. So we're sitting there screaming at an empty screen as well. So probably sympathize for today. But when it all came back to light, we were unanimously awarded the $14.5 million. So which was really good, and it wasn't unanticipated, but still, that's just a lot of long work getting everything queued up and ready to roll, and system is in place to pay.
And you're right at the cusp of that.
It just vote. It was decision point, and it just clicked, goes off, just messing with us. But one of the timely issues I wanted to talk about with community events, with 13 nights has been going really well. But one of the economic engines for 13 Nights has always been beer sales. And even with this challenge of, beer and liquor sales, is the need to have to sell to pay for the event. Basically, it's been how the business model was worked for years and years. But it's been historically in a beer garden scenario, and that's kind of constraining. So the ask for the council is to consider, and we've done this on and off on the trial basis as well, but is to do an open container area. The event area is the open container area. So you're still going to have to comply with all the LCC and all the regulations, but the governing piece of it from the city is going to say that, the city is okay with events having alcohol in their alcohol, the stuff sold in that area and consumed. So there's a number of cities that do that. Cannon Beach being one of them. A lot of the beach towns are pretty big on that, having people just walk around.
And we've done this before.
We've done this before, but it's not in our code, and it's nothing we can get done. And there's 13 nights, but there's also 4th of July with the tailgate party. The council has granted that. We haven't changed the code for that. It's more of a policy, and wanted to, particularly now that we don't have fences around. Before we had the ability to fence off the parking area for the 4th of July from the park to kind of control that area, and now we don't. So as much what we do, it'd be really difficult. But so I don't think it's a huge ask, but it's an important ask to the financial success of the events.
So I'm confused. Are you requesting that people would be able to buy their alcohol and go into the park with their alcohol? I felt like they were already allowed to do that. No.
It's in the beer garden area.
So this would say no more beer garden. Now you can buy it and you can go sit in the amphitheater with your
Correct.
drink.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the beer garden would still be reserved for that, but
okay.
You'd have the option to come in and mingle and be with your family and not kind of in the tank, but on top. So.
And it would still be a kind of a controlled purchase if it's confined like that still, even though they can walk out. You're not. So I see it as a win-win as far as.
Well, like the rodeo has it. So you get a drink at the rodeo and you can go into the stands, and then they have like the Elks that does the monitoring while people have monitors. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's
I think certainly if we move forward with that, on that issue, it's knowledgeable that we can always move back if problems exist. And so I don't see any kind of issue with not moving forward, just simply because it gives us the flexibility to work backwards if there are problems. And I don't anticipate any problems because I've seen it in so many other places. We have good security always. If there ever are any issues with alcohol related or whatever, I haven't seen them. I'm sure the police have at times, but I really haven't seen them. So I think we should move forward with it.
So in our tailgating down there at the 4th, the previous 2 years, we allowed it. And I walked around and I seen the people having a lot of good times. Didn't see nobody getting completely out of control. And I walked through the whole crowd because I was on this side of the island, which I will be over helping out with the show this year because of the nature of the setup for that show. But I've never seen an issue with it. I was asking people what they thought about it. They loved the open tailgating experience where they were able to come down, set up a little tiny barbecue, have a few drinks, a beer or two, and wait for the fireworks show, playing cornhole, listening to music, not overly loud by any means, and just enjoying their little company area. So
I want to clarify. So the beer or the drinks folks can bring their own from whatever source, or it has to be purchased from
Only
the,
on the 4th. Only on the 4th.
but on 13 nights, if we're doing it the 13 nights, it has to be purchased at the
Yes.
beer garden area, and then they can leave the beer garden and be in the area, but they're not bringing in their
That is
own
correct.
drinks.
That is correct. Yeah.
But on the 4th of July, they would be. Okay.
Yes, because we kind of laxed that with the $20 admission, and they also, who's ever working gets a designated driver. They have a designated driver automatically bracelet, which is a separate color, which identifies their designated driver. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's worked well. It hasn't been a problem, but
and Chris Iverson is we're good on this with insurance coverage and all that.
We don't
There's
ask
a lot
Chris
of
those
other
questions.
big
You
entities
don't ask
that do
Chris.
it too.
You ask any insurance guy a halfway question, they're going to say, no, don't do that.
Well, I'm not saying that he's going to tell us yes or no, but I mean, at least we will have some kind of coverage in
Well,
case.
just to be fair,
That's like
beer
me
garden
saying-
or no beer garden, people are still bringing their alcohol and sneaking it in. So I mean, that's just gonna happen.
Yes. That's like
I know
me saying,
I'm a Wisconsin boy, and there's a bar on tavern on every corner, and family. The tavern, the corner tavern, is a family gathering place. So I get it.
yeah, John, I think if we need to vote on it, we can tonight. But I think we've had this set up in years past where it was like this too.
yeah, a motion would be good. We can move that forward for tonight. And I think just a motion is appropriate. It's a policy. It's not really a.
Yes.
It's not a resolution or ordinance or law changing. Kind of thing, so. So yeah, you talked a lot about the 4th of July, which is exciting and coming up, and hit machines queued up and ready to come. And I think everybody's looking forward to getting back to normal. And
yeah, and I would like to give a shout out to Tina, because Tina has continued to help out with this. You're thinking about just the fireworks show, and it's the porta potties and the parking, and we are still waiting for somebody to take this over. We have not heard of anybody. So what may end up happening is Tina may hire the parkers, and then people to pay them to park people, and then whatever we'll set aside at the end of this event and see if there's anybody that wants to step up. Did have a little bit of a talk. John and I met with PUD the other day. They said they might want to, maybe if a nonprofit's out there listening, might want to be a supporter of it. And they want to further the talks with the city. They can't pay for a show, but they could definitely help out, is what I heard them say, which makes a difference. So it makes a big difference. So there are a few people starting to take notice, and hopefully somebody fills that role. If not, we as a council, it's going to be our black eye next 4th.
Do we have any type of partnership with the people putting on the ringing of the bells event on 4th of July?
Yeah, Shedco, and they have not expressed any interest.
Yeah, no, the Main Street folks have been talking at the table talking about it. We're all working together, and it's going.
Yes.
The only reason why I asked it because I know they're putting on that ceremony, and they had it last year too, and it was really successful. And if they're already doing 4th of July, an event for 4th of July, maybe they would be willing to take that under their wings also.
We got to remember the ringing of the bells is basically Judy Thompson and myself who have been arranging that. The biggest event that we've had a number of operations helping together. John, remember the Maritime? We did a lot of parking and stuff. And do you have a list of the groups that put that together?
I don't remember for that event specifically, but more recently we've used either the Kiwanis or the CERT team and just have kind of a profit sharing or just a flat fee. It's a lot of work. It's a huge commitment to, police cars in and checking them in, checking them out, and getting them parked physically because there's a lot of cars, and getting them in the right spots, and then getting them out of there in the evening, and then the whole intersect with the police and the traffic control when everybody wants to leave it.
Yep, and I
at the same
want
time.
and that's again why I want to recognize Tina Curry is because unbeknownst to this council, even though we took it away and we're trying to, this is the last one, but she has continued to follow through, and I want to just recognize her that she is working on this, and it consists of street closures, porta potties, getting the music, getting CERT, Kiwanis, all those people involved. And this was it is a huge undertaking, just even getting the fireworks show itself to go off and donate and getting the funds raised and permitting and through all that. It took a committee of, in years past, I would say anywhere from 10 to 15 people on that nonprofit for fireworks in order to even make this thing work. And that's just the shoot itself. That wasn't this side of things. So it is a big commitment. And I want to just also put a shout out to Heather from Western Fireworks for all that they have been really helpful in setting up this show this year and allowing us to help out with the setup of the show in order to get the best bang for a buck. So now again, Heather Gobey at Western Fireworks. So
And there's a whole lot of public works aspect of that too, as far as going out mowing the grass and getting the cones spread out in an orderly fashion, getting them picked up and delivering the lights and barricades and all the traffic control devices that goes along with all the traffic. So yeah, there's a lot to it. And
all right, so why we got you here, jot this down. We need public works crew just to go over with the little boat to put some barricades on the end of the island for the 600-foot outfall, and some tape on Friday before they take off. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
No fires on the parking lot. Cut the
No.
grass, not burn it.
Yes, we cut it already.
Or we can just mow it, it'll burn itself. So again, unfortunately.
Okay, any other stuff to report, John? I know you got a bunch going on, but we're gonna get some of it.
Yeah, I feel a little hamstrung talking on a smartphone, but and a lot of it needs graphics to talk about as pictures involved for your discussion direction. And hopefully we'll be able to continue that tonight. At 6 o'clock, we have the forum tonight on the streets and roadways alignment. Staff internally has been meeting 3 to 4 times a week on both the Riverwalk and the streets project. It's been really a lot of intense work. We have a technical advisory committee coming up tomorrow. Councilor Morton's invited to that one, or is on the schedule anyway. That proves to be a really good meeting. A lot of the work with the Riverwalk and the interpretive signing piece has been a good project as well. Just there's a lot to it. So I guess setting some expectations for this evening to say that what you're going to see tonight is all about the road connections, and it doesn't show a lot about the Riverwalk. And the Riverwalk draws a lot of public attention. So your eyes kind of naturally go to the water to see what's along the water. It looks like the building blocks to what they've programmed in the building blocks as far as potential uses. And that's not really what this is about. This is really about the alignment of the road connections, the building mass, opportunity for development, opportunity for public spaces, things of that nature. So just to get the utility design underway is kind of the mission. So. And I think that's it. Yeah, it's
all right. So I see Matthew's online with us, but we're going to wait to go into our executive session I'll announce it and we'll recess it, and then we'll go in tonight.
I have a question for John, if that's a good This is a
Absolutely.
good time to.
This is the
Okay.
time, yes.
Well, I've had some citizens reach out to me and ask me questions that I have not been able to answer. So I'm hoping to get those answers from you. So I have heard that we have opened up a Halloween Town store in downtown St. Helens. And that was the first time I heard about it. So I was kind of surprised. Some of the questions that I've received are, where's the money coming from to open the store and supply the product? And then where's the money coming in that the store is generating? Where is that going?
So all of that it's tourism, and it's been in the works for a while. We've talked about it scads of times. And if you haven't been in there, you should, if you haven't been in there, you should check it out. It's really quite interesting. But yeah, it's something that Tina's working, or she's basically created. It's all merchandise that she's been using that used to be in some of the merchant stores, but now it's kind of centralized in the store. And there's certainly some new stuff, and there's stickers and tchotchke kind of things. And, it's all part of the greater Halloween kind of thing. It is, sorry, Kathy was sending me an email there. She's worked like 70 days in a row out there recently. So it's been pretty exhausting, grueling trying to find help. But yeah, it's a real asset to the community. I think if you haven't checked it out, you should. And if there's any concerns about the financials.
Okay. I'm just curious. So you're saying it's coming out of tourism funding from the city, correct?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And
the money that's profited, made off of it, goes back into that?
Oh, yeah, it's all contained. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just so Jessica, so you know, it was actually approved about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe
that would be why I didn't know about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly right. Yeah. It was, yes, it was approved 2.5 years ago. So it was upstairs, above, and then it got moved she just recently did obviously 70 days worth of work to get it set up downstairs. So yeah.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I'm not against it. I just, when I get asked about it, I would like to be able to talk about it. Like I know what's going on. So maybe I could get some just personal email about exactly where the finances go. That way, when I am quizzed, I know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
But I think it's a good idea. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, part of it's about trying to maintain some street life the rest of the year in the building that we're leasing, so it's not just boarded up waiting for the haunted house to happen. The years keeping something active and interesting, and I think you'll see that when you go by and check it out. But
okay.
Yep. Hey, John, did you have any other things any other questions for John, actually, from the council? No? Okay, so my question, John, is are we going to be able to have need our attorney present for our executive session? Because we're going to recess it till this evening, but I'm going to go ahead and go into it and then recess it. But are we going to need him there? And if so, we want Matthew.
He probably does not need to be there.
Okay. Probably. Or
no, he doesn't need to. I feel confident we can. If the things to talk about don't really involve their direction, really simple.
Okay, so we're going to kick up to this evening. We're going to go ahead and have the public safety facility timeline discussion this evening. And then we're also going to have review the new records and evidence specialist job description. And then our strategic plan right after public comments, and then we'll go in and we'll do those three, and then we'll go into our work session after public comments in those three items, because they need to be discussed because we are voting on them later. So, okay.
And executive session?
Yep.
Okay.
So let me, yes. Before I adjourn, we'll be going into executive session ORS 192.6602E and 192.6602H, real property transaction and consulting with counsel potential litigation. So with that, we're going to go ahead and adjourn our work session. And then give me just a minute and I will get the protocol for the executive session. And I'm not going to worry about anybody being here because we're just going to get it started and recess it. So nobody needs to be excused. Just hold on a minute.
John, I was able to reconnect to our internet. You may be able to get on your computer.
Oh, it's not supposed to come on until 6 o'clock. So
Yeah, I was surprised.
Jenny made it on here. She was asking to come back on and she sounds good now. So,
well, I'm going to try to
Okay.
log back on as well. It sounds like it might be resolved here.
okay. So today is June 16th. The time is 2:26 p.m. 2021. We are now in executive session under ORS 192-6602E real property transaction and H consulting with potential litigation. Representatives of the news media are directed to not report on any material in executive session except to state general subject of the session as previously announced. Any person in attendance, including the news media who has a recording device, is directed to turn it off. Members of the city council president are Council President Morton, Councilor Topaz, Councilor Berkeley, Councilor Chilton, and myself, Mayor Scholl. So now,
Mayor?
Yep.
I see a number of people.
Yeah, so Patrick, it didn't matter because I'm just going right into
Yeah,
recess.
it may be.
I'm going right into recess. So I didn't feel it was necessary that there was not going to be a discussion. So
Thank you.
the time now is 2:27 p.m. We'll recess this executive session till after the work session, till our work session tonight. So with that, we are now recessed and we'll see you all at 6 p.m. for 6 p.m. for the regular. The discussion on the road alignment. So, okay, don't forget, and we will go into executive session back out of recess later. So with that, we're adjourned. Okay, see ya.
See you later.
Yep.
It looks like it's a little bit of sign of life on the internet here, so that's encouraging. So.
Good.